everybody. Happy Wednesday night. Happy Facebook Live night. This is Melissa Thomas from C2C Stamping, and if you're catching this later on YouTube, thanks so much. If you can subscribe to my YouTube channel down below, that would be awesome. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm pulling up my laptop so that I can see comments while we go live tonight. And this class is coming from a request. One of my passions is self-care, and I have a business with Perfectly Posh as well, and they do face care and skincare and stuff. And I have some thank you cards that I made for customers, and one of my friends, who is also a Stampin' Up fan, said, hey, it'd be neat if you showed us crafty folks how to make those. And I said, yeah, that'd be great. So I'm going to show you how to make this really cool kind of bookmark card, bookmark holder or pocket card holder. So let me mute that. If you're here, say hello. Make sure you comment. I can't see who you are if you don't comment, so that's fine if you want to be anonymous. No big deal. But we'd love to say hello, and yeah, I'd love to see who's on and see who's watching. So comment, say hello, ask me questions for sure. Let me rotate us down. I'm going to do that. Ready? All right, I'm going to cover up the camera so it'll make you sick. All right, so we should be here. Good. All right, just making sure we're in the right place. I'm going to move some things so that I know where I'm at. Always like to make sure I'm in the shot, right? So let me show you the project and kind of what we were talking about. So this is the card, and hey Pat, hey Kathy, confirmation birthday, Halloween cards, hey girl, keep it going. Yes, today I was wondering if it was too late to send out Halloween cards. Good to know it's not. So these are really fun because I made a little bookmark to go in here, and then I've got a sample, right? And then I've got my card, and I've got this cool background. So I'm going to show you guys how to make this. This is just a tailored tag die. If you haven't seen the tailored tags, they're really awesome. Hey, Patsy Bomber. So the tailored tags are really cool because they come in like 4 different sizes, 2 different styles. So you get like 8 different sizes of tags. You also get these little tiny circle pieces and squares, I think, too, to be reinforcer tabs here. I don't really think this needs it, but yeah. So, and then someone asked me a question about how I stamped this so quote unquote perfectly. So I'm going to show you guys that too. And then this is the just the label die. And then I did use the bark folder on this Misty Moonlight piece back behind here. So Stephanie, thanks for asking me to make this because I appreciate you. And I want to show you how to do it. It's actually really easy. And then if you wanted to, if you didn't want to like taint this and write on the back, you could just put a piece of cardstock on the back and you could write your note on the back. You could also just write a sweet little note on the back of here just saying like, thanks so much, love you, whatever, So, all right, so let me show you how easy this goes together, and you're probably going to be like, what? I would recommend using a paper like this. So the Beauty of the Earth paper has a couple of sheets that do this, and it has 2 sets of this, right? So it has like, there's a set that goes like this, it fades from dark to light, and then there's another piece, right? So let me see if I've got a full piece in here to show you, because I might have cut mine all up, but it has a couple of sheets that have like kind of perspective. Oh yeah, this is another one. So this one's kind of cool too because it kind of goes, lighter in the middle, but it's not quite the same. I think I might have used, it's just that sheet that does it. Now this sheet also does it to a certain degree. You can see it goes from dark, right, all the way to light. But you're not going to get quite the same, effect. So I would recommend using a sheet like this. This is the beauty of the earth paper. The other paper that I thought would be really cool to look at is the Peaceful Place paper, because it also has some pieces that do this perspective thing. So what's neat about this sheet is that it has 4 sets. So you could get, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards out of here. Because I used a 4-inch strip, this isn't as useful. The reason that they made these 6 by 6 is because they didn't know if you wanted to orient the card this way or this way, right? So depending on which way you want to orient it, right, kind of depends on that. So that's why they did that. This one, though, was the one I was thinking would be cool, because you could cut it and then you could stamp a sentiment here. And so I think we'll try to make one with that. This one's cool too. It's just, again, it's kind of like those other trees, right? Where like you really only get the full effect on a, maybe this narrow swath, right? So it's still a nice piece of paper. It's beautiful, but you're not getting the same perspective. And of course, there's a buffalo check in here, so who doesn't want that? But anyway, I haven't had a chance to play with this paper as much. So I wanted to show, and I think I'm actually going to show how to make it. I'll just show you real quick with both of them. So we're going to get our paper trimmer out. And hey, Lynn Sampsel, how are you? I hope things are well. Lynn, I saw you were teaching classes to people. That's so cool. All right, let's get, it's a weird piece of paper. Let's not use that one. Like, that's a very strange piece. All right. And then let me get out like a gray tone sheet for this one. What do we think? Gray granite? Yeah, gray granite would work. That's fine. We'll do gray granite. Although black would look good with that too. All right. So cutting this is pretty easy if you have a paper trimmer scorer. So you're going to cut your sheet, and you're going to have your 5.5, right? Just your standard card base. So 5.5 by 8.25. You're going to still go ahead and score 8.5. Sorry, you're going to score at 4.25. Okay, and then you're going to split that in half, that 5.5. And so at 2 3/4, you're going to cut, and you're going to cut to the middle, and then I'm going to line that up, and we're going to cut to that piece right there. And hopefully I did it well enough, and if I didn't, I have snips. So I'll just snip it. Sometimes I cut really well, sometimes I don't. All right, okay, there we go. Awesome. All right, so basically we've just created a card, and we've got a piece here that's just like a flap, right? And we use our bone folder, and we're going to crease it. All right, so now we've got our card with our flappy, and I'm going to do the same thing. Some excitement in Circle C today. Why? What happened in Circle C? You're not in Circle C. I'm not in Circle C either, so I don't know what's going on over there. It's always exciting times here. People have been a little edgy. That's all I gotta say. All right, so same philosophy. We're just gonna cut it in half, and then we're gonna I was able to pull that one out. Good. All right, so do I want to go this way? No, I want to go this way. All right. I guess it doesn't really matter which way you do that, because you're not going to open it anyway. All right, so then what I'm doing is I'm cutting a piece of the DSP, and I'm cutting a 4-inch strip. So I'm going to cut 4 inches. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut at 6. The reason I'm going to cut at 6 is because I want to make some decisions later, and so I'll show you why. All right, so you know, if I look at this and I say, okay, I want to stamp a small sentiment down here. Maybe I don't need all this white space, right? I think this white space might be a little wasted. Maybe I do want that big of a piece of a white space, and so I'm okay kind of splitting it. But on this one, I've decided I think I'm just going to trim that off. That seems like an excessive amount of snow. Man, I like snow. So normally it would be 5.5, right? And I'm going to cut it to 5.25. Just going to trim that little bottom piece off. And then I'm going to go ahead and this piece needs to be 2.5. Okay. So I'm going to trim the bottom piece off, right, at 2.5. So I'm going to say, I know that I need this bottom piece to be 2.5. So what that's going to do is it's going to give me a nice little bottom piece here. And then this one, I'm just going to tuck in here and just make sure that the spacing works. So now, right, it's like they line up. Yeah, isn't that cool? All right, so now let me show you with the other one. So this is the trees, the fall trees. And cut ourselves a 4-inch strip. Now with this one, I was like, oh, you know, I like the dark, but I also liked the really light, and I was kind of struggling about how to do it. So what I decided to do was keep the dark piece. So again, 2.5. I'm going to cut that 2.5 piece off. So I have the really nice deep dark piece here. And then this, I was like, well, if I tuck it in, right, like, does that look good? You know, or do I need to maybe trim, you know, do I want to have it a little bit higher, right? And maybe trim a little baby piece off the top. So I'm going to trim just a tiny bit off the top. For me, maybe 1/2 inch, you know, I think that seems like plenty. All right, so then that way I've got, still got my top, my piece on the bottom, dark piece. And now I can kind of tuck this in just a little bit here. And you can see that progression, right? I kind of want this to look like a continuation piece, right? Just like it does on here, right? Where it looks like the trees are continuing. I want that to happen on here. So, you know, Lynn, I don't know. This is so funny. I gave this to somebody today in person. It's always fun to like see people in person and give them gifts in person, right? Like I can mail these all out, but you know, in person is best, right? And she was like, "Did you come up with this on your own?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." And she's like, "What? That's crazy." She's like, "But how do you get the pocket?" I was like, "You just glue it." She's like, "Oh, wow." So that was really cool. Okay, so all that we're going to do on these is we're going to glue this down. And I'm going to grab my Seal Plus. So I'm going to use Seal Plus. You could use tear and tape as well. I'm just going to recommend the DSP part. I don't think this is as important. I think that this is, you know, you could use whatever glue you want, Tombow, whatever's your jam. I would just recommend that you use a really strong adhesive for this pocket piece because people are going to want to like rip it open, I think. I think that they, I don't know, people get aggressive with your, yeah, trying to open things. All right, so with this, I just want to make sure I've got about the same, you know, border. I want it to line up. So I'm just going to make sure I've got about the same border. And that looks pretty darn good. All right, and then I'm just going to build the pocket. So I'm going to take my Seal Plus and I'm going to build my pocket. Now, I don't have to tape on this side, obviously, because it's a pocket, right? And in this one, I didn't. And I like not sealing on this side because then it gives you a little more wiggle room inside your piece. So I'm going to make sure that these two lines line up, and then I'm going to go ahead and just like bone fold that together so that we've got that. Now, true, I have glued this down before I stamped on it because I said I was going to stamp on this. Oh well, you know, we'll fix that in a minute. No big deal. Hopefully I stamp well, right? So same with this one, right? We're gonna glue down our inside piece and we're gonna glue it with just a little bit of a border. And then we're gonna go ahead and glue down our side and our bottom. And you really want to make sure that this is nice and solid because the last thing you want is you don't want this coming open on somebody, right? Like you don't want your project falling apart on them. So I just like to make sure that, I've bone folded it. Adhesive requires a little bit of friction, like our dry adhesives do. Tombow, like a wet adhesive doesn't, but wet adhesives have their own problems, right? So I got invited to like a really special event last night, and it was so funny because these are like people who work from Stampin' Up, and they're like arguing about like the green glue and do you use it and do you not use it. Anyway, it was really funny. Okay, so now we've got a really pretty wintry version, and then we've got this fall version. So this was the cute little tag I made for this one, and you could just put a little bookmark tag in there. You could put a gift card, right? You could put a little sentiment card, a gift card. You could do any number of things in here, right? You could put maybe a small chocolate, like a Ghirardelli square. I'm trying to think of like other little treats and gifties I could put in here. There's probably some other small things. I don't know. If you can think of things, let me know. All right, but I do want to show you guys how to stamp something like this. And I'm just going to stamp on a piece of white right now. And then I'll die cut it out later. But so what is this piece of white? Okay. Like, what is this paper? Is this the paper I want? All right, let's get a piece of white out. And then with this one, we stamped in Mary Merlot and Misty Moonlight. And I like Misty Moonlight as a wintry color too. I think that it might look really nice with this gray granite. And so I might want to stamp like a Christmas sentiment on that one. So let's see. All right, where is that stamp set? All right, looking for it. Looking. Ah, there it is. Excellent. Okay, and let's see. Nice. All right. So for this card, I'm thinking about making this for the senior center. And I'd really like to go back and watch to get the dimensions. Definitely. Ooh, a hot cocoa envelope. Oh yeah, Stephanie, one of those, not a standard size, but one of those narrow ones. Yes. I know which ones those are like the fancy hot cocos, right? But the narrow ones would totally fit. You know what else would fit in here? One of those fancy Vias, the little coffee, the little Via coffee things from Starbucks. Like one of those would fit in here. And maybe even like a little tiny candy cane would fit in here too. Yeah, there's a lot that would fit in here. So I want to make this card, the wintry card for the senior center. And we're using the Banner Year stamp set at the Senior Center. This is like our stamp set du jour. And so I'm trying to figure out if I want to put the Be Merry or the Christmas Wishes on the bottom. I think I'm going to do the Be Merry. Although it's smaller, it's bolder, but I think it would be really cute right there. And I think we could make a really cute little, we could make a cute bookmark in here that we could use like the Guess Who Loves You, and we could stamp stamp some little pieces. So anyway, I think this is what I'm going to do for this one. So we're going to do the Be Merry, and hopefully that comes out really well. the fancy ones. Thanks, Stephanie. I'm glad I'm not the only person. Yeah, and honestly, Lynn, the measurements are pretty easy. I mean, you take a standard card and you just like cut the front in half, you know? And then the DSP really depends on what DSP you're going to use. Oh yeah, that's super cute, and I'm really happy with that. Man, we put a couple sequins on that bad boy, right? Is that not the cutest card? I'm so jazzed. All right, and then let me show you how I did this. So I'm gonna move this one away, although I'm very happy. I'm so happy. I want to keep it right there. Okay. All right. So I need my longer one. These are pretty long sentiment pieces in this stamp set. Okay. So this is the Ornate Thanks stamp set, which is a really nice stamp set. I think it's been a while since I've used it or shown it, but it's still current. One reason I like it is just this fancy font. Uh, I love me a good font, y'all. All right, so I'm gonna need actually two of these. So I like to put this down and pick it up, right? Instead of putting it on the block. You're more likely to bend it or get a slight bend if it's, if you're trying to place it on the block. And then I need the Seriously for Everything. All right, seriously. For everything. Okay, good. I will say this font is not hard to read when it's stamped, but when it's not stamped, it's really hard to read. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to stamp the first image, which is the So Grateful. And I'm stamping it in the Mary Merlot. And because someone asked me, how did you get it like so square? So then what I do is then I come in and I say, okay, I want this to go here and it can't touch, but I do want it, super close. And it looks like that's about where I had it last time. And then I tried to I want to fit it here. Oh, yeah, right there. Okay, so now I've aligned it right where I want it. Oh, I'm so glad that you have that stamp set, Lynn. I love this stamp set. I think it's an incredibly useful one because it has like every sentiment from the bottom of my heart. I wasn't sure how to say, I wasn't sure how to. What? I don't know what that one is. Just wanted to say, your kindness is so loved. You made my day. I wasn't sure how to say thanks. So here's a card. I don't know. That one's weird. Thank you for all you do. You're amazing. All your help. All of us. My friend. Ever much. I mean, it's really great. It's a really great set. All right. And then I brought in my Misty Moonlight. And because I've made these together and I made them pretty tight, right? And so then I stamped 15 of the So Gratefuls, and then I stamped, however many of the, of these. Like then I was able to get it, to line up pretty darn well. And I knew kind of like, okay, I always want my Y to be there or whatever, right? So then that gets your spacing just right. So I wasn't sure how to say thank you. I wasn't sure how to say though. Is the word say somewhere? I wasn't sure how to. I don't see the word say. Oh my gosh, I don't know. That's a really funny one, Lynn. I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm gonna have to look at that one soon. I've never used it, obviously. So I've used a lot of them, but not that one. All right, so then this gives you an idea of how to line it up, right? And then you're just going to die cut it. I actually die cut these first and then I stamp them because I'm using photopolymer. I was able to, to get that pretty well. And then this is some old retired twine, but I also used like some current linen thread in here too, and it looked super cute too. So, whatever you use. But Yeah, so hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully you maybe it gets your wheels turning about some cute, easy, thank you gifts or teacher gifts. Now that Marianne has like, I don't know, 9 teachers, teacher gifts, definitely have to be a little simpler and a little, easier to reproduce, and maybe a little more, you know, economical, to say the least. So, anyways, and then all I did was I added, just a little tag on this one with that. But I honestly think that you could, sorry, I'm always trying to center myself. I also think you could just, do this and add a little tag, and that would be really cute too. Maybe with a little gifty or something. So I just love that there's a little bookmark that they can use later. And this is pretty sturdy, like I think this is a really nice bookmark for later. So anyway, um, yes, teachers do get tired of mugs. It's true. And I mean, even the little things. I made the little tombstone treat boxes for them, and they just loved them. Like, so they all had them out on their desks, and it was super cute. So I also think as the kids get older, the teachers get less of those gifts. And so it's really nice when you can appreciate teachers even as your child gets a little older. So, okay, hopefully you love this and it was easy and fun and gives you some ideas. Don't forget, this month, you'll get the Halloween tutorial. But if that's not something that's up that you want to get, place an order on my online store and you can pick one of the other tutorials that I have. I have a Halloween tutorial. I have a One Sheet Wonder tutorial, which shows you ways to use your pretty pattern paper, which we're all looking for ways. And then I also have a July to December mini catalog tutorial. So it has a bunch of different examples from Halloween, Christmas, and Thanksgiving in there from all the current product, which is really fun. So, but hopefully this was a good project, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I wish you a very happy Halloween. I have some half-eaten candy on my desk that I'm sure will get taken care of soon. And I hope that everyone has a great week. And I will see you next week. All right. Bye, guys. See you later.